Hi, we're Renee and Tim, two long-distance adventurers who love spending as much time in the outside as possible. Renee grew up in Wisconsin as an athlete, swimming and running from a young age. Tim grew up in Illinois, camping, fishing, and going on occasional group backpacking and canoeing trips with the Boy Scouts. We met at a football game at the University of Wisconsin-Madison and soon combined our hobbies. We spent our early relationship being athletic outside together, biking, swimming, and running, as well as camping and hiking whenever we got the chance. We also volunteered with the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources to help count wolves in the state. As our relationship grew, the nature of our adventures did too. We started going on longer backpacking trips and participating in endurance sports, including marathons and long-distance triathlons. We took what we learned about nutrition for endurance sports and built it into our approach to backpacking food. We began dehydrating our own meals and refined our recipes to ensure that each was filling and nutritious with a balance of carbohydrates, protein, vegetables, and flavor. With a bit of practice, we learned how to make dehydrated meals that are lighter weight, more nutritious, and less expensive than store-bought versions, and they taste much better too. Eventually, our careers took us to California, where we fell in love with the Pacific Crest Trail, or PCT, which runs for 2,650 miles along the western edge of the United States, from Mexico through the desert and high mountains of California, Oregon, and Washington into Canada. Hiking the PCT became a dream, but we had no idea how we'd fit it into our busy lives and advancing careers. Renee is a mechanical engineer, and Tim is a scientist who works on the genetics of plants. We were able to find time to hike a 2-week section of the PCT, starting just south of Yosemite National Park and continuing south about 200 miles. Experiencing the trail's remote beauty and wildlife while being totally free for 2 whole weeks was amazing. All we had to do every day was eat, drink, walk, and sleep. We loved it. But Renee, in particular, needed more. 2 weeks just wasn't enough. She wanted to thru-hike the whole trail, from start to finish. As our careers progressed, we moved to Missouri, where we continued to squeeze in as many wilderness trips as possible, but we still craved a longer experience. After a few years, we decided it was foolish to put off until retirement something we wanted so badly. We had enough savings for the 4.5-month trip, so we decided to go for it and quit our jobs. Soon, we were back out on the PCT, and this time we were hiking the whole way, from Mexico to Canada. Talk about a life-changing experience. Each day on the PCT felt like the best day of our lives. When we sent photos of our adventure to our families, they said they had never seen our smiles so big. Every morning we woke up not knowing where we'd camp that night, but we were carrying plenty of food and knew that there were enough water sources along the way for us to make it as far as our bodies would carry us. That connection to simple and basic human needs is difficult to replicate in off-trail life. After completing the PCT, we realized that we didn't want it to be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. We needed to thru-hike another trail. We moved again for our jobs, this time to Germany. Renee was an engineer working on international building design and construction, and Tim worked as a professor and chair of plant breeding. In Germany, we hiked more than 1,000 miles on long-distance trails. To bring the long-distance experience to more of Germany, we worked with a fellow hiker we had met on the PCT, Jonas Parmesan Trout, to develop and release a mapping app and guide for multiple German trails. A few years later, we hiked the 3,100-mile Continental Divide Trail, CDT, which runs from Mexico to Canada across New Mexico, Colorado, Wyoming, Idaho, and Montana. We are among no more than a handful of people who have completed the CDT without deviating from the officially designated path.